Or for you.
Hey, Kevin. I have missed you guys.
Thank you.
These kind of things. So cute. Okay. So,
Okay, so we are now recording, John.
Okay, thanks everyone for joining the November 27th MicroProfile live hangout. In the link, you should see a link to the minutes. It is everyone's shared responsibility to take notes during the during the meeting, and please add yourself as an attendee if you are on in the meeting minutes. Okay, first things first, I will be out during the next meeting.
John?
Yes.
Yeah, so first of all, can I introduce somebody new that's on the call?
Absolutely.
Okay, so we've got Justin Herberger, and he's going to be the new IBM rep for the marketing team for MicroProfile. The previous person left IBM, and so Justin has volunteered to be part of it, and he was introduced on the mailing list. The first call, I think, for marketing, I don't know if it was this week or last week, but I don't know that you were able to make that one yet, Justin, but maybe that'll be the next item. But wanted to introduce him, and he can say a couple of words, and then we can continue.
Thanks, Kevin. Good to meet you all. I'm Justin. I've been at IBM for a little bit less than a year now, and I'm on the management and platform marketing diamond team, but looking forward to working with everyone.
Welcome.
Welcome, Justin.
Justin, let me follow this, and I will do it really quickly. You have access already to the marketing, to the MP drive for marketing. Do you have access to Slack and all these onboarding that you need access to, or what is your status?
I have access to the marketing calendar, but not a box drive or the Slack channel.
Is it possible, Kevin, that you forward me that message where he was introduced, and then I will enable for him to have access not only to the drive, to Slack, but also make sure that he's an editor or he has admin access to MP blog to enable all these different things we have. Like that, we immediately on board. Is that okay? And we don't use any more time in this call.
Yep, I'll do that.
Thank you. Justin, it's a pleasure to meet you during this call. Good call to join it.
Thank you. Thanks, Amelia.
All right, welcome as well. Now, again, for December 11th, I'll be out attending KubeCon, so I am looking for somebody to run the December 11th meeting. Kevin, I don't know if you'll be around.
I will be around.
Okay. Can I volunteer you?
Yes.
Oh, run the meeting. Okay, awesome. We don't really have a lot of topics. I suspect this one here might take a little bit of time, but we go through our normal MicroProfile spec updates, and then any topics that have kind of been added. But I'd like to, hopefully by the next live hangout, which I won't be leading, but by the next live hangout, have a pretty firm decision in terms of which specs that we will be adding to the MicroProfile 2.2 release. So for anyone that is, I guess, part of the spec team or leading the spec, can kind of put a Y or an N in parentheses after each of those specs, or update the spec version. That would be wonderful. So, so for example, I will just go ahead and do this, like a yes, for example, right? That would be really helpful, because I'd like to define the release in the according to the Eclipse process. All right, so a month and a half roughly should give us enough time to do that. A separate but related note. I listed standalone specs. Reactive messaging, we kind of agreed informally that any new specifications will be introduced as standalone specs. So actually, reactive operators are would probably fall under this yet because it is not hasn't been released yet.
Right.
So my bad on that. I apologize. So these would be introduced as standalone specs, but I still think we want to release them if possible at the same time that we release MicroProfile 2.2 because I think it'll be really good marketing messaging. Okay, question mark. I'm assuming that means we don't know yet, so it's not a commitment.
Yeah, so I just added that to the meeting agenda today. I know I've talked with Nathan. It looks like he's blank on the on the screen.
Oh,
there.
I'm on, but my laptop is pointing at itself.
Ah, there we go. So,
better.
And I know I've talked with Nathan, one-on-one here. I'm not sure what the current state is, if we're still driving for MicroProfile 2.2 or not.
Yeah, and those question marks I think are there because, we'd love to do it, but it's a really short runway. And I think it'd be a really big stretch to be able to get there.
Okay. So I still think it's valid then that I think we'll leave it until we make a better determination. And actually it feeds right into the next discussion item about trying to track this release. Oh yeah, that would be a standalone spec as well.
Yeah, I just realized that too. And if I recall correctly, open tracing was potentially going to have a dependency. Let me go back to last week's notes here.
On concurrency, you're actually thinking of MicroProfile fault tolerance.
Yeah. Okay, thanks. Yeah, fault tolerance.
That's for their asynchronous methods to be able to return completion stages.
And kind of a process question then becomes, what's it mean for a spec in MicroProfile 2.2 to depend on a standalone spec that's not a part of the platform?
Well, there is not a strict dependency there. Fault tolerance ended up modifying the way that they were going to deliver this so that it's not a requirement that concurrency 1.0 is there.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's more like a recommendation.
Right.
Okay. Okay, so I see people are starting to place their status, yes or no, for a 2.2 release. Again, I think we really want to nail this down by the next live hangout. So this is kind of a virtual shot across the bow to for people to kind of decide whether or not they think they can make the release. Again, which is February 1st.
Or thereabouts.
Or thereabouts. I haven't even looked at the calendar. Does that land on a Sunday or something? Yeah, or thereabouts. So.
Sorry, John. And when is the closing window for the release for the spec?
Yeah.
So, closing window. Sorry. Sounds like, Kevin, like you understood what closing window is intended to mean.
Yeah. Well, I had posted a question last week related to this because if we look at a February release, first of all, we have to determine what are we saying, were we going to stick to February 1st or just sometime in February? And so that affects when all the component releases would have to be done.
Kevin, what will we be with if we a few months ago already decided the dates?
Okay, but that's just it. When we decided on the call before, we picked these dates because we thought, yep, okay, that makes sense. Let's just say February 1st, June 1st, October 1st. But if we say February 1st, then that actually means that we have to have the release done by mid-January in order to meet the Eclipse process, which then pushes everything back so much further that it's like, okay, we pretty much need to be done in middle of December. And it's like, is that realistic? So I'm bringing that up because if we look at just saying, okay, we wanted a release in February, then we've got 2 release dates in February, the 1st and 3rd Wednesday, and then we've got more time, and we could actually complete more of this for MicroProfile 2.2.
Yeah.
Okay, so that would mean that we will not push anything in December, correct?
no, I don't know what you mean by that.
Well,
Go ahead, John.
I was just gonna say standalone specs can release when they want to. But
Well, actually, anybody could. If we had, let's just take as an example, if we had config 1.4, if that was done, they could do a release right now, and then we'll pull it into the next platform release.
correct.
Yep.
So what is the recommendation? Can we summarize what Kevin just said? So you're recommending that we do 2 releases in February?
So I'm with Kevin that we should not need to be ready mid January, and the original idea with the February date was on one side aligning with code 1, so and in this 4 months cycle, but on the other hand also to basically skip across the Christmas time, where in the past it has been problematic. Either you cobble something together, throw it out on the 23rd that no one looks at it, or
Correct.
you don't have it ready, but then you throw it out and in the first week of January, but you lose sort of 2 or 3 weeks where no one is doing anything anyway.
Yes.
So saying something like we shoot for mid-February, which is past the first Eclipse release meeting, whatever it's called, I think sounds much better. And going with the 4-month release, this would also mean something like mid-October, which still should be good for Java 1, Code 1, and EclipseCon, and so on.
That sounds amazing to me. What I was thinking, and we always complain about, is doing stuff and throwing it in December during the holidays where no one benefits from it.
Oh, right.
December should be the month that people hack for fun and
Right.
add value.
Right. And so I'm not advocating to change that aspect of the dates. I just wanted to clarify what we meant when we said we're going to have a release in February. Did we really mean February 1st? I mean, that's what we put in our minutes. Or did we just mean the month of February? And I think the month of February is the better alternative.
Plus one.
Think that,
Plus
yeah,
one.
I think that's fair. I mean, even if I look at February 1st is on a Friday, and I mean, no one's going to release on a Friday. I mean, at least from a marketing perspective, right? Marketing, you could release whenever you want to release. But if I go look at the 15th, that's a Friday as well.
So why? So let's adjust it and add
February.
it to Monday. Let's adjust it and add it to Tuesday. Mondays are busy, and the level that we will tackle the stuff in the marketing side, everything can be scheduled. There are templates that go live to say we are introducing X. But if we do it to Tuesday, let's adjust those dates to Tuesday, and each time avoid Fridays because no one cares, and we want these to be global. So Tuesday.
Yeah, well, agreed. So if I look at the 15th and follow that on the Tuesday after, it would be the 19th.
That's
Right.
perfect. I just tweeted, guys, retweet, and you are there, and I do not know how the photo turned out. I was multitasking while listening.
Okay. So just another little bit of information there, John. So if we pick the 19th, then that says that the Eclipse release has to be done on the 6th. So we've got the 6th and 20th as the two choices, the first and third Wednesday.
Yeah. So I think your point is if it's the 6th anyway, that puts us in the same bind.
Yeah. But then if we're saying, I guess we should maybe shoot for the 19th, and if something happens, then it's going to be the 26th because we'll get it cleaned up on the 20th.
Okay.
I am wondering something. Why are we putting our restrictions on? I understand the holidays, and that is a major form of why restrictions and onto the releases. But what is the other restrictions? We want to go with Eclipse normal process, but MicroProfile hasn't followed Eclipse in the level of exactly. We are so flexible, so I don't understand why. What is the difficulty here on Tuesday?
No, the one thing that we have had to do, and we've been doing it since day one, is we have to get the Eclipse release approved, and
yes.
they have 2 release reviews per month, the first and third Wednesday of every month.
Correct.
That's what we've been driving for. So that's where In February, we have the 6th or the 20th. And if we shoot for the 6th, then what we're saying is maybe we are actually going to try to release on the 12th, because that would be a Tuesday. Yeah, that's when we would announce it. If we have to slip to the 20th, then it would be the 26th.
So why don't we work retrospectively and go into making the release on the last week of January? Everyone will be back from vacation. The second week, the 11th, that is a Friday. And then we can start working on this aggressively on the 14th. Can we do that instead of missing the first mark?
We don't, yeah, but we don't, I don't think we have enough time for all of these components to be done by then.
Not to mention extended vacations that may go into January.
Correct. Like, I don't even know where I'm going to be. Okay, so let's go February. And let's do like the second week. Because
so that would imply, if it's the 6th, oh, sorry, I'm into March now. Hold on, my calendar, I'm looking at my calendar. So, yeah, Wednesday the 6th, that would mean, yeah, Tuesday the 12th, right? Which seems like a reasonable goal. And if we can't make that, we'll slip it out to 2 weeks.
Yep.
Okay, so let's take a note on that. Okay. How come that's not working? There we go. And I will put down, okay, agreed to push to target February. What did I just say? 15th, 12th, 16th. What was that?
second week of February.
Which is what date?
Hold
on, I gotta find my calendar now.
Hold on. It would be the 5th. If we use Tuesday, as we are speaking here, we do
No, it'd be the 12th. There we go.
Oh yeah, I counted, but that would be the third week, the 7th week of the year. So that would be the third week, because February starts on a Friday. So let's be exact. The 12th. Yeah, the 12th.
We target February 12th for MP 2.2. Okay. Alrighty. I think that is worth posting to the group. So I'm going to take an AI on that. Okay. Announce to group, Google group.
Can you, when you do that, can you see marketing also? We do 2, the forum, and also 2 marketing. So like that, they will know. Everyone will know on that side. John.
Yep, I will do that. I'm taking notes. Sorry.
Thank you.
Also CC marketing group. Okay. I can do that. Okay. I'm hoping that each team can kind of put a yes or a no, I guess, or a question mark next to each of these specs. So if the folks on the call can reach out to their respective teams, that would be awesome to kind of commit to this. Okay. All right. Anything else on that? All right. Let's move on down to the next topic, which is tracking releases, MicroProfile releases. So Jay, who is the engineering manager for Thorntail at Red Hat, he can't. I don't think he's on. He can't make it because he's off at a off-site meeting right now. But the idea is there a way that we can track these using some mechanism? And he mentioned GitHub milestones, so that even folks within Red Hat. But I think this is, and he thinks as well, that this is good just for the entire community, right? To be able to track what we think is going to be able to make the next release, right? So. I think it's a good idea to track these in something more formal than yeses and nos in a live Hangout.
Yeah, and something more consistent across all the spec.
So we're finally talking about like the operations and tracking. This is amazing. +1 from me. Anything that we can be organized.
So guys, just to be, just a level set here, this is nothing new. We used to do this for all the releases, and then for whatever reason, we fell off the wagon for MicroProfile 1.4 and 2.0.
It's because we were in a rush. Let's not create excuses. We were in a rush, so we got everything that was in process, and now we're here. So we're going back and doing what worked in the past.
Right, but I mean, it's like this isn't a new idea.
No.
It is a new idea when you stop using it. Guys, let's be honest. Let's own the failure here.
It's reopened.
Yes.
Okay, so what are the thoughts about tracking these via GitHub milestones?
+1.
+1.
Yeah, I think it's obvious. And then just as my notes indicated there, I ended up creating one for the 2.2 release and assigned the various issues with it. And so now we actually do have something that we can track.
In order for this to work, we need to send another email to Kevin John, to the team, and say can we track when we stop? We already said there was 1.4. We stopped doing this. We're going to start. We require all projects to acknowledge that this is a requirement. Or can we do that?
Yeah, so we've already started that discussion on the forum. And so I think after this call, we can just add another note to that discussion thread and indicate that, yes, this is what we decided.
But, we need to be careful because not everyone gets those emails, believe it or not. And not everyone attends the calls.
Yeah, but we can't go hand feed everybody.
That's what I mean. So we have a few leads in this part. So what I want to do internally is talk with the drivers attending those calls and explain to them, this is a requirement moving forward. After the minutes are gone, I will feed the team that is attending those calls. And then they will be, like ambassadors of the updates once they join those calls because they are distributed across projects. If each vendor, each partner, even individual can go and on the calls that you join and say, hey, this is the expectations now, and we need to retract and do proper operation to equalize all projects, then we will be better, not only in writing, but also verbal. Can we do this? I am saying Tommy Tribe will do it internally. Can Red Hat, can IBM, can Payara, can all these partners, like Lightband, do it? It's a question.
I mean, sure we can. The one thing I've been trying to figure out, and this occurred, I think, in one of the forum threads, is how do we come about making decisions? With the concern, potentially the concern being that we're, how many people are on? We're 10 participants on the call, kind of making decisions for 1,000 attendees. I mean, sorry, 1,000 microprofilers, I guess. So, when it comes down to making decisions, we're a very narrow group. Now, I've been putting some thought into this, and perhaps I'm mixing two things together here, right? We're kind of talking about making a decision about this, but the process for making decisions kind of influences this. So what I had been thinking about is I do like the idea of the live Hangout being a decision-making forum. So if you want to make decision, if you want to be part of a decision-making process, you should join the MicroProfile live Hangout. But there's, a grace period for people that can't make it, right? They're sick, they're on vacation, or whatever, right? To provide feedback on those decisions. Or we could just say, have a representative, if you can't make it, have a representative show up.
I agree.
So it makes things simpler. So thoughts about kind of making the live Hangout a formalized decision-making forum?
+1, it has always been the case. This is just that we have never done it formally. But I agree with you, John. We have always been transparent on how we do stuff, and we ask for the community feedback in complicated matters. One of the things that we noticed is that when the architectural call started to occur and it wasn't feeding this call, we had issues, and it became a problematic matter that we tackle not only in writing but also here. And then it became that this is the call where all projects come and then get together, right? So I'm saying +1.
I mean, the other aspect here, I think we're constantly doing as a small group decisions for the 1,000 microprofilers. If I only think about our metrics calls, we have currently 2 folks from Red Hat and 3 folks from IBM on the call. So basically it's 5 or people doing most of the decisions that happen and determine the future of metrics.
So then we have disconnect with the other partners and also individuals. You know, this is an issue, and John, you are correct. We're tackling different issues here. How do we get people to be more active? Silence doesn't mean that they do not care. It's just there is no time or no priorities. So we need to do better at this. And this is a tackle thing that we have had since day one. How do we make everyone voice without being bothersome or noisy? So this goes beyond just this call being the call, but also us being a little bit much more inclusive on, if you don't join the call, you will have 1 week or something. But it is, you are welcome. Everyone is welcome to join and speak up.
Yeah.
Like I will say an example. The PMC at Jakarta, E4J project, they don't have delegates. If you don't join the call, you miss the opportunity to speak up. And that is the only call that I know in the Jakarta committees that is not a committee of out of the 3 that do not have an alternative. We are telling through this call that everyone can send alternatives if they want to know exactly what's what. And I think it's fair and I think it's honest, and it makes us socially responsible for open source and how we communicate and what priorities we take.
Sure. But then I think, if I heard John right, I still think, though, that we need a little bit of a grace period to at least allow some of the decisions to get absorbed by the wider community.
Please,
Because,
+1.
Okay.
+1. What is the time? Is it 2? 1 week is never enough. So I said 2 weeks was massive. And what is supermassive that is not a feature, but an actually new thing that is going to impact the project?
I mean, we could have this mechanism of approving the minutes that others have. So that if we decide something in this call, it's only put into action on the next call if we so there's the grace period, and then we go over it and says, yeah, okay, there is no objections, so now it's in we decided for final.
Heiko, that is amazing idea.
Yeah.
+1. Wow. What is everyone else thinking about this? I love that idea. Minutes approval are great for ownership.
I'm a +1 on that.
Mm-hmm. Who else? Let's write a +1 so then we own it. We're socially responsible, guys. Since I'm the only girl, I'm going to say guys. I'm a guy too, so come on.
Okay, now it looks like I'm doing async note-taking here with all these.
You know, thank you so much for taking the minutes.
I need to use promises. Okay.
So I'll just throw out the idea here. Instead of having even more notes coming through that, you know, everyone's just saying +1, +1, +1. What about if we would follow the model of Jakarta EE, and at the next meeting, we just put it up to say, okay, are these minutes approved? Now, granted, it depends on the people that are attending, but if someone has voiced a concern, then they should show up at the next meeting.
Yes, we can say abstain too. There would be 3 choices. Let's just structurize it to yes, no, abstain. 3 choices, not only 2. Again, thank you, John, for taking the minutes. I wouldn't be able to do it, NTAG.
I thought that Kevin, that was Heiko's proposal.
Yes.
Did I misunderstand that?
Oh,
No, this was my idea.
I'm
Okay.
sorry. I misheard you then, Heiko.
Okay, we caught Kevin trying to steal Heiko's idea. Okay.
It's all in video for everyone
That's
to
all
see.
I
Yes,
do.
it is.
That's all I do.
And this is, you see, I already tweeted, but I'm going to link after this call, when the minutes go live, I'm going to say this is the video, and I will make sure that this goes live in Twitter via MicroProfile, so that the community at least listens to video.
Okay. All right, so now that we kind of have this decision-making process, did we finalize, sorry, going back up to the prior bullet here, that we agree to use milestones as a means of tracking projects, individual projects, and the umbrella project?
Yes.
You know, I want to add to this process, and is it possible to use the calendar for reminders of major undertakings? We use currently the calendar just for calls and video hangouts, but we had to start using it also for tracing as a reminder. Can we do this? Do you believe there is a value to do this with reminders? Because I have imported a MicroProfile Hangout. When I'm able to attend, I get reminders 3 days in advance. There are reminders that everyone that downloads the calendar can say, I want to know about this, and to work on this, I will use X times. And it goes much more responsibility. Can we do this?
To do what? You mean to put the release date on it?
Yeah, to put the release dates in the calendar, and you say reminder, release reminder, and add it. You just start tracking. We already know, and we have adjusted it to say, we can say we don't need to adjust the deadlines or the dates for Eclipse process, because we know those twice a month. But we agree this is happening. If we scale and trace what we are talking about in the tools, I believe we're going to be much more effective. 80% of the community that joins the calls have downloaded the calendar. If they see a reminder, I believe that would enable us to do better at making those deadlines. I just want to know what you guys think.
Yeah, it wouldn't hurt. I don't know how many people rely on the calendar, but
everyone I know, believe me.
It wouldn't hurt.
Can we do this?
The one thing that I am thinking of is, with all the, I put this in the post to the forum about all the backup dates. If you start working backwards from the release, and now we're saying it's February 12th. I don't know what the date is that we decided. But then if you work backwards from that, we could start putting the milestones out there that indicate, okay, now that means that, the component releases have to be done by here, which means that your compatible implementations need to be done in your TCK and your release. And, it could just be a nice reminder.
Yes, that is part of the reminders. When an admin of a calendar adds, they can decide how many weeks you need for that reminder to switch. It's something that the calendar owner can do for everyone. And like that, it can be totally not noisy and add much value to everyone. I highly recommend that we do this now that we have a process. We're going to start following much more carefully the deadlines for the technical side. Who will do that though? Only, I think, 2 people have access to the main.
Nope, the calendar, all committers should have access to that calendar. And if they don't.
I am not a committer. Remember this. So I cannot help. I cannot help. So I'm saying on this task to get it done without procrastination, if we agree that is necessary. Kevin, John, guys, there is Anton, there is Nico.
Yes, okay, just a second. I will commit to putting the final release date out there. I don't know about all the other dates, whether they're worthwhile yet, but I will put that reminder out there.
Just one, just the final. Okay, yep. This is great. Moving on. Thank you, guys. Okay.
Just when you say committers have access, it's actually anyone who's in the committers Google group, which is not the same thing as an Eclipse committer. So there's no reason why we can't extend that.
Oh, we could, and then Amelia can have her own action items.
You know what? Don't throw me out of the bus, but yes, correct. Like, I've had troubles before, but I believe that sometimes we procrastinate and then we fail to achieve stuff. So happy to help, but let's do this. Kevin, you agree to own this task. And if I can have access to make sure that the calendar.
I am making you a member right now.
I love it. Okay, so we get it. Let's do this. But this is great. Thank you so much for adding process. I think system is important, but process is much, much, much more important than anything else. So.
You are now invited, Amelia. You can update the calendar.
I will get my email later. I don't want to be distracted. Thank you.
Okay. Does anyone else have items that need to be discussed?
In case you missed it, I will do 1 minute. I sent last night an update on the white paper with Lars. Have been traveling a lot, and Lars also have been busy. But the update stands to version 2. We are 3% up to completion. We're in the toughest section of the white paper, but that is the best section because now we have the content currently at 17 pages. If you missed the update, it was sent to marketing and also to the forum. I will copy and paste on these minutes what I sent. I will just send the link of the thread that I sent last night to enable the update to be complete for this call. That's it from me.
So you're still recommending reviewers?
We're done with the community review. We included, here's Anton, we included Heiko, we included pretty much everyone that is super active in each project. And everyone already provided the feedback. The feedback has been approved, declined. We are done with that section. Now,
Okay.
complete. We need to make a stronger conclusion and tackle a few other sections that Lars and I connected in Oracle Code 1, and that are the steps to follow. It's just that I have been traveling, and he has been back into consulting and holidays. So we're back, and we will tackle it. We have the ETA for December, but clearly we don't want to miss it. We want to complete it so that it can go a big splash in January, but the completion should be in December.
Mm.
I will add the link in this section. If you can add a task for me to on, it will remind me to add the link to this minutes from last night's update. Thank you so much.
I'll have to get your email address in there. Okay, yeah, I'll do that. I've got one item, and that is looking at the calendar. We've got the next meeting, which Kevin's going to run, and then we have the second December meeting on Christmas Day. I'm assuming that we'll want to cancel that.
We always cancel that one. We have only one meeting, I believe, in December.
Okay. I just want to verify with everyone that we're okay with kind of having the next meeting be the last one of the year.
I want to ask, because last year we made a mistake and didn't schedule for the following year, and then everyone was lost. Can we also, now I have access to the calendar, but can we just extend, Kevin, I know, laugh all you want. Can we just set up all the calls current to 2019? As it is, we're not adjusting the dates. I saw a thread that came in and said we need less calls, but this call is a constant.
Yeah.
Project can decide what they do, but my recommendation is this call needs to continue to occur every 2 weeks.
Yeah, I agree. Let's just keep this one at the same time. I think we've all kind of adjusted to it.
Mm-hmm. And Kevin, can you own the task again?
No, nope, you can this time.
Yeah. Okay. Add it to the minutes, so it's true.
Okay. So Amelia, I'll add an AI for you here.
If you use Amelia at Tommy Tribe, that works. When you don't remember my last name, just do Amelia at Tommy Tribe, and that freaking works. Really, you cannot forget my name. Everyone knows it's Amelia. So let's be lazy together. Okay. I will do it.
Okay. Meeting dates through end of 2019.
Mm-hmm.
And I will also add that it is you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You know, it feels really good at giving you action items. I don't know, for some reason, it just feels really good.
It means thank you. It means you guys as you have I have missed joining these calls. Apologies, I was not able to join, but we have drivers joining, so it's fine. Just
Okay, December 25th.
mm-hmm.
Okay. And anything else?
We have two conferences happening right now. Java Today's in Bulgaria, and we have Devox Morocco in Morocco, clearly, Marrakesh. And we have a few microprofilers giving sessions. You will note that via the Twitter handle, we are retweeting those sessions that are already live, and we will continue to do so. There is no marketing strategy behind the marketing group creating a standard template for those two events. But on our side, we will continue to retweet and make sure that we are present. And if you see, because some of you follow the MicroProfile, please retweet and help us make more noise.
All right, thanks for the update.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else?
Nope, John, I canceled the call on the calendar already for December 25th.
Awesome, thank you. I was going to assign that to Amelia, but see?
Seriously, stop.
Okay.
I was feeling sorry for Amelia.
What? Sorry, it's good to be back, you guys. I appreciate everyone saying, okay, she's back.
Welcome back. All right, I guess with that, this will be a shorter meeting, and thanks everyone for joining. Let's see, the next meeting is
December 11th.
Yeah, thank you. December 11th, same bat time, same bat channel. Thanks everyone for joining.
Okay, thanks.
Love seeing everyone.
Yep.
Thanks for
Bye.
all the amazing things
Bye.
done in the last few weeks. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.